You're listening to End of the Reel.
Oh my god!
G'day everyone, this week we are doing Gymkata. It is a movie about gymnasts who do karate and that mash it together. You get Gymkata, that's
Did they?
That's it.
I don't know. Did they? Did they
That's
have
it.
access to a gymnast and just go, "What's popular at the moment that we could make it a budget?"
No, that's actually what
a
happened.
shitty karate film.
No, that's literally what happened, that's fact.
Yeah,
He's a gold medal gymnast at the time, so he's popular.
he is a
and they did
gymnast.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
The only takeaway I got from this movie is that gymnastics is a terrible martial arts
Yeah.
unless your enemies are situated right next to like a horse or something.
Right, unless if your enemies are situated very conveniently next to like a pole out of
Or
the
they've
window
set
that you
up
can
like a
do.
rope course.
Yeah, we'll let's get to it. Jackie Chan, right? He
Yeah.
does like Chinese circus sort of kung fu stuff, like circus stuff. It's not actually a martial arts. It's circus
An entertaining
performance.
performance. It's
Exactly.
great. Yeah.
It's very entertaining, right?
Like I can watch Drunken Master multiple times without getting bored. I was bored throughout the majority of this film.
but that's what I wanted to
Like
get
the
to.
fighting's not cool
No.
in any way. He'll sort of hit someone and then do a couple of backflips and then sort of hit someone. Like the karate bit isn't good.
No, and that's exactly what I mean, because let's just go Jackie Chan,
And-
right?
and the
Jackie
flipping-
Chan, though, if you want to see good like circus martial arts stuff happening,
Yeah.
you watch like Asian Jackie Chan films, especially
Right.
his earlier stuff. He does flips everywhere, jumping, cool things, right? Cool gymnastic sort
Are
of.
you saying you
feats.
don't get that in Gymkata?
No, you don't. The problem in Gymkata is they go, oh, let's actually make him just do a like a gymnastic move, a tumble here and a tumble there. It's like, no, that doesn't make it.
And the weird
good.
standing flips don't actually look cool, right?
Standing flip. No, the standing flips always look dumb. You
Yeah.
don't show.
Because he'll be standing in the middle of like 5 people and he'll just be flipping around and they'll just be standing there with their knives going, well, we'll wait till he finishes so
Yeah.
that he can attack us.
I really, man, I cannot emphasize this enough.
I think it's because we
Watch
didn't
Jackie
like
Chan films.
we didn't like the main character. We didn't like Johnny at all.
Is it Johnny?
Is it Johnny? I
it
can't
Johnny?
remember. Mullet boy.
Bland
Because-
American.
I think he how old is he in the film?
Well, we start off the very start of the film, right? And he is doing some flippy things in front of an audience, and then like everyone's cheering. There's also some flashes to.
Well,
the,
he's doing like an actual gym routine.
Right. Now, and when he walks off, you think that's his coach coming to him, right?
Yeah.
And also they stop a girl from going
Because
to him.
women throw themselves at him.
Yes.
Well,
Well,
he hooks up with the only attractive woman in the movie.
the only one with a tongue.
Yes.
And that might sound really weird, but I mean,
Wait till we talk about this
man,
kingdom because it is just I don't understand. It is messed up.
it's pretty good though.
Oh yeah, it's
But-
the only good bit in the film.
But yeah, he's doing his gym stuff at the start, and you're like, okay. And then you think that's his coach, but his coach turns out to be his handler, his boss, man.
So so the
And they
movie
walk up,
the
but they-
movie starts with this guy on a rope bridge. Well, because it cuts from him
Oh, yeah.
doing gym stuff to this guy on a rope bridge just getting shot with arrows
it
and
turns out to
falling
be his
down.
dad.
We find out, we find out it's his dad. And because he's good at gymnastics and his dad was a spy,
Right.
these guys have decided that he is the perfect candidate to infiltrate this kingdom to put in some sort of
It's a satellite for the Star Wars defense program. Okay, so they need to do this, and so do all the other countries in the world want to do it?
So whoever sets up a satellite place, or maybe there's already a satellite thing there, I wasn't entirely sure.
But
Whoever does that will be able to control the world's satellites.
Yes. Isn't
And
it because
either
they're saying they're-
destroy the world or
Right.
protect it.
But they're saying they're launching it. I thought... Call me dumb. I will admit I'm not...
You're dumb.
Thank you.
Yeah.
When they send a satellite into space, it doesn't just hover above
I
that one
don't-
location.
I don't understand how any of it worked.
I do understand that there are actually
I-
better places to send off a satellite from.
But it wasn't.
I get
it
that.
wasn't sending off a satellite necessarily. It was like a satellite installation, so it might have been monitoring it.
Right.
or all of them, or it's like that's where the network would be.
That's
And for
okay.
some reason, it happened to be on the border of like every other country in the
It was
world.
everything. So
Because it's this tiny little country that's in no one has taken it over because no one wants it.
it's a shithole.
I see.
It's terrible.
Later on, we see
It is
everyone.
terrible.
Everyone there except for the princess is like this weird, deformed people
But you know why the princess is beautiful?
or crazy.
She's
Why?
got a very rich. What was it? What did they say?
She's a very interesting character. Her mother was Indonesian, you know.
That was it.
That was it. That was her introduction.
We laughed our
And
asses
why
off at
wasn't
that.
she talking?
No, it was like she's got a very interesting background. Her mother is Indonesian.
That's
That is it.
That's her interesting background.
Is it more interesting to Americans, perhaps? Like because we are Australians.
Well, we don't find out anything about her.
No, but I'm saying because we're Australians, though, we're kind of close to Indonesia.
No, I don't
we
think
get a
that's
lot of
it. I
Indonesians,
just
like-
think it was weird.
It is just weird. You're
Yeah.
right. It was just poor writing. But yeah, they walk straight away off. They walk off from. So they walk straight from what we see. They walk straight off from doing the performance thing,
The gym stuff.
right? And then he walks into the room with the boss guy, and then the boss guy starts being like, "Okay, yeah, so we're gonna send you here. We're gonna do this," and he starts explaining the whole Star Wars defense thing, the whole you're going undercover, and we're like, "Oh, I thought he was his coach."
And the whole thing is dumb because they're like, oh, why don't you just send soldiers in? Because it's like literally one guy with a handgun could take out their entire army.
Oh yeah, it turns out
But
that
it's like-
guns aren't allowed.
Well, no, that's why he can't bring a gun with him. But they're like, oh, you know, brute force is out of fashion. We've got to play the secret diplomacy way.
Yes.
And the only way to do it is they've got a game. So anyone who comes into the...
Oh, I have so much issue
anyone
with
who
this
wants
game.
to live in the kingdom or move to the kingdom...
No.
Or just go to the kingdom?
If you win the game, you get granted a wish.
No, but you get to live there and you get granted a wish. I thought it's like anyone who wanted to go to the kingdom had to play the game.
No, I think it's just you get.
That's
what
why
if
they
your
don't have
demand
any
is.
outsiders there.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought it was just you get your demand.
I think that as well.
But why would you want to move?
That was a
there?
bonus.
Why would you want to move?
That's
there?
the thing. Okay, so what they find out is that so to move there and to get a favor from the king,
Mm-hmm.
you play this game, right? They call it like the ultimate game. It's like if you win, you get to live there and stuff, and you get one request they have to grant,
Yes.
which is ridiculous. But no one has won the game in over 900 years.
And that pisses me off when they say that because the game that we see is not very hard. It's quite easy, except for the fact that
Except the fact that at certain points you just die.
because the
There's no way to win.
what are they
it's
called?
actually
the guards.
It's impossible to win unless they let you through or be stupid.
So the guards who are monitoring, when we do watch them, they just randomly every now and then just decide to shoot arrows and kill people
Yeah.
while they're doing the things, and then
And not in a way that they can defend against. Like
boy,
later on in the film, the main bad guy is breaking the rules, so he's killing them. But even before that,
they're breaking the rules. So we're
well,
told.
it's not even that. Like, okay, so
Well, we're told that they're only allowed to shoot the people if they're doing the trial at the same. So like,
no, that's just
no,
the
no.
early bit when they're climbing the rocks. Later on, when they're crossing across that bridge thing, I think they're allowed to shoot them.
no,
or
they're
something.
not. They're breaking the rules, but they
Is
don't
he?
care. That's the whole point.
No,
is
but
that-
they're allowed to fight them there. Because
Where?
even when they're following the rules, the guy gets onto the rope and shoots him.
yeah, he's on the obstacle.
Yeah,
You're okay. The obstacle of the rope bridge
yeah,
is the rope bridge, right?
yeah.
He's only allowed to shoot him if he's also on the rope bridge. That's
So-
why he climbed onto the rope
no,
bridge
because
and shot.
but they weren't allowed to stop them earlier when they're climbing up the rock face.
They're allowed to shoot them on the rock face if they're also climbing
No.
on the rock face. Yes.
No, they weren't allowed to climb on the
Yes.
rock face.
100% yes, they are.
So all the guy had to do was hold onto the rope, and
Yes.
he'd be able to shoot the guy.
Yes, then it's
No.
legal. But that's
No,
why
I
he...
think no. I
No,
think
that's what... No,
No.
oh my god. Yes, that is exactly what they say.
No.
100%.
He kills the guy for interfering. He says you can't interfere at this point.
No, because he is not on the obstacle.
No, it's because he
Yes.
isn't. He's allowed to
Nah.
interfere later on.
I swear. I'm happy to even pause this podcast and go to the
I
bit.
don't want to watch the movie.
I swear
again.
I'm 100%.
Okay,
Just trust me, I'm
hang on,
correct
hang
with
on.
this.
I can solve this. Okay, the game is stupid
Yes.
and doesn't make any
Because that-
sense.
I did want to get
so
to this.
there you go.
even though-
Okay, that's why we're confused, because the game is stupid and
even
none
though-
of one
okay,
follows the rules
This is
anyway.
what I wanted to say. Yeah,
Okay?
that's what I want to say. Even though I am correct about the rules.
Whatever.
Even though I am correct about the rules.
Whatever.
What we're shown is that the main bad guy doesn't actually obey the rules when he doesn't care about the rules, and that's why no one's been able to pass it. But that doesn't make
No,
sense.
that's
that doesn't
not
make
why
sense
no one's
because
been
no
able to
one's been
pass
able
it.
to pass it in 900
No,
years.
I told you, no one's been able to pass it because it's a stupid game.
Ah,
You literally can't win
I'm saying
unless they want you to.
Unless if everyone else who's been like the general has been as crook as our main dude and doesn't obey the rules, it doesn't make any
because,
sense why no
okay,
one could have done it.
You get to the rope bridge bit, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Okay, whatever you think.
If they obey the rules,
so
though, they
he
could
can,
make it.
Yeah, but one of them can get onto the rope thing with him
Yeah.
and just shoot him with an arrow.
Oh, yeah,
Right?
totally. Yeah.
How could anyone pass that unless
Because
they let
every
them?
now and then the guards are just like, oh, no, because it seems like the guards only pick one person per obstacle. Have you noticed that? Each obstacle, one person got picked off.
No, that's because of the movie we were watching.
I know, but, well, we can only go off that. We only saw the one game. I'm saying that the guards are lazy and they go, he's allowed through.
But I don't
he's
usually
allowed
think there
through.
are that many people playing.
Well,
They usually seem to go out, but like they kill the 3 prisoners.
I feel like the guards are honestly, they just go, he's fine, I'm gonna kill him.
Nah.
That's what it looked like to me.
I think they were all pretty gung ho.
The guards are shit.
Yeah.
You know what is funny? I like the guards' uniform because of how poorly cut out the eye holes were.
It was some sort of
Did you
like
see them? Did you see their eye holes?
Mongolian sort of
That's
look they were
great.
going for, but all in black. It wasn't good.
It looked more like the KKK, but
Like
in black.
they couldn't afford actual armor, so they're in like black
They're in
robes.
black robes, right? But the eye holes are cut out really like
Ugh.
jagged at certain points. It made me laugh a little bit. I liked
Anyway,
it.
we
But
should
the training
okay,
scene.
so we should
got a big
discuss
training scene.
what the game is, right? Okay,
We just
first
did.
No, the different stages, because
Is
the
it 5
stages
or
are
6?
kind of important. So the game starts off in the middle of the city,
Yes.
of this shitty kingdom.
Well, you just had to run.
You run through a wheat field. You get to the first obstacle, which is where you climb a rope up the side of a cliff.
Pretty easy. Can
that
we
didn't
point
look
this out?
that hard.
The reason this is easy is that's probably only like a 15-meter tall.
Well, okay,
built
but
up.
you got to remember the whole way from the city to there, you're being chased by men on horseback who are trying to kill you.
You don't have to sprint though. They didn't. That's
Yeah,
the
yeah, because
thing.
they get a bit of a head
The
start, but
actual
not much.
apart from the guards breaking the rules, the actual obstacle
no,
apart from
no,
one
because
of them.
the guards are allowed to kill them at certain
Yes.
points.
But I'm saying like the actual rope climb is actually
Quite
quite doable.
Once you get to the rope climb,
I could do it.
that little bit, I couldn't. That little bit isn't too bad. You get to the top of the rope climb, then you run a couple miles,
Yep.
and you get to this
A
chasm,
rope bridge,
right?
which again isn't. Everyone's thinking Indiana Jones giant rope
It's
bridge
not too
chasm.
far.
It's
As long
not
as
too
no
far. It's
one
quite
jumps on
doable
and
again.
decides to kill you,
Yes.
you could pretty much do it. Like they all do it seemingly pretty easy.
You know, I really got annoyed by the techniques they all used because the most obvious and best technique to use is the one where you put your feet over it too.
Yeah, which the Asian guy does.
Only the Asian guy seems to do it.
Yeah. After that, there's another long run, and you get to
The
the
actual.
town of the crazies,
And this
which
one's
is
good.
the best part of the movie.
I do
The
understand.
best part of the game.
I won't lie. The other two, easy. Okay.
Well, no, yeah. The hardest part, right,
just not being
is getting
shot.
across the rope bridge because they can just shoot you. There's no way to defend against it. If someone decides to kill you at that point, you just die.
But the actual good obstacle is the town of the crazies because that one I get
is
yeah,
awesome.
that one's dangerous.
So this kingdom, which I was trying to work out how this kingdom worked, and I think the reason no one wants to invade it, but it's still popular, is it's secretly on top of like a giant pile of uranium.
My God, I was going to say that
and
too.
everyone's going crazy or they're mutated because they've
No,
got
see,
a
I
separate
think-
city just for all the crazy criminals and mutated.
I think
weirdos.
what happened was the Russians
yeah.
were doing all the nuclear testings in that
no,
country.
because no one's been allowed to go there for 900 years.
You can still set off a bomb.
No, I think we would have noticed if the Russians had just
That's
nuked
why they're
the city
all.
a couple of
That's
times.
why they're all weirdly mutated.
Yeah, because they're secretly on top of a giant pile of
Because the
radioactive
Russians have been
stuff.
doing bombs
no,
on them.
the Russians haven't gone there yet, Jared.
I reckon the Russians have been doing bombs everywhere. There you go.
I think you'd notice if, like, there were giant craters all around the city from nuclear blasts.
That was a cool. I saw that episode once about one of those countries.
Anyway, after the town of the crazies, you just run back to the city.
Yeah.
And of course, the whole way, except sometimes on the obstacles, the guards can kill you.
Right. So
There are
that's-
also guards just pointing the way who aren't allowed to interfere. They just point the way.
yeah, and you're also allowed to kill the other people who are
Think,
going with you.
yeah.
Question though, what happens if 2 people make it?
They both get to live there and they both get a request.
So what do you gain from killing the other person?
Oh, maybe only one person was allowed to win a day?
Dude, I don't know.
Actually, I'm not sure. They never really brought that up.
Because
You know
there's
what?
These guys who were
You know
trying
what,
to kill
Jared?
them.
No one's done it in 900 years. 2 people winning the game in a day, probably not very
Probably
common.
not. Yeah. Well, if you were smart, you'd be like, let's team up.
Yeah,
5
none of
people
these
win.
people seemed very smart.
So we are straight away given a training scene. Yes.
There is a long training montage.
Very long.
He doesn't actually get to the kingdom till about halfway through the film.
And I won't lie. I reckon until you get to the game, the film's
Boring.
not that great.
It's like a crappy James Bond ripoff with gymnastics.
Oh, this is such a James Bond ripoff.
yeah.
It's incredible. Anyway, so with the training scene, we've got
It's him learning to walk upstairs on his hands.
right, and also the one of the trainers, of course, is some Asian dude with a giant eagle who's telling him weird philosophy shit. And there's also we see so many scenes of him climbing up the stairs. Oh, but the princess is there.
But here was my thing, right?
The princess
He's
is there,
already a gold Olympian gymnast. He can't walk up the stairs on his hands already. You can tell it's like he's falling over on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
Like it doesn't look like his not it looks so fake when he's doing that.
And then
It's
when
ridiculous.
he finally gets to the top of the stairs, the guy who's the trainer
just
grabs
shakes
his legs and starts shaking it, going, "Hey, hey,
Just
hey,
shaking
hey,
his taint at
hey."
us. It's so weird.
Why is he shaking him at us?
And of course, his training's being overseen by the princess of the kingdom, who actually wants the Americans to take over.
Oh, and what's her training? Her form of training is to show him not to trust anyone.
She just keeps bringing out a knife to stab him, and of course,
When does that even
his
play in?
he's really kind of irritating.
Does that ever play into the actual movie? Not to trust anyone? Oh no, yeah, the terrorists. Okay.
No, the
Yeah, no, that's
the
it.
women in the crazy town attack him,
Ah.
and that
so
was
he
that
didn't
it.
learn.
Yeah, he didn't learn in the end
He
anyway.
didn't learn.
He
You know why? Because-
instantly starts throwing eyes at this chick, and she starts throwing eyes back. And halfway through the training montage, they start having sex.
Yeah, no, that was the end of the training montage.
Yeah,
Because she would keep
because everyone falls in love with him because he's this weird-looking dude with a mullet.
her thing of trying to teach him is just to bring out knives every now and then and stab him. Which
And while
God.
he's making out with her.
how funny would have that been? There were so many like good jokes that could have been like they're making out and he's like it cuts to
We
black
made a lot
and
of
then you hear like a
kung
scream.
pao jokes during
But
this.
how great would have that been? Like like he finally starts making out with her and then it cuts to black and then you hear a scream.
Yeah,
And then
th-
like the next thing
this
is
would have
like
been
him
a
with the wound in him.
much better comedy,
And it's like, well, you passed almost all
like a Naked
your
Gun
training.
style thing, just stupid shit all
Yeah,
the
it's
way
like
through.
almost all your training. Yeah, that would have been good, but we never get
Yeah,
that.
so after the way too long training bit, he gets sent to
Dude,
some
I do not
city
know.
that
Can
was
we talk
nearby.
about that? I mean, we're going to talk about that. I don't know why I asked if we can talk
they're
about that.
getting sent into the city, which is weird because playing the game isn't illegal. Like, you can just turn up and play the game.
Yes.
Why did they need to be smuggled into the place in the first place?
Okay, so I think
Because he's
okay.
traveling with the princess.
I think the thing is
Of the
there's
kingdom.
another terrorist group or / country that
Because
want
there
to
were also
win.
revolutionaries within the kingdom who didn't want to open up the kingdom to the outside.
No, they want to open up and get to the 20th century. That's why they're called the 20th century.
Yeah,
group.
but there's two because there's another group who's led by the commander who doesn't want to, and then there's the king who wants to do a bit of both.
Well, I don't actually know who these bad guys were who get them, but they go to this country where they have 2 security guards.
Maybe they were meant to be Russians.
Dude, I don't know who they were.
Yeah.
They instantly get given like this guy comes in and they do the Q. Is it Q from a
Yeah, so
From,
they travel
James
to this
Bond?
city and they get picked up by
James Bond?
the guy who's meant to be the American secret agent guy there
and he
with his
starts-
group.
Now he takes them to an area where he's like, "Oh, here's my special gizmos for you. This is a special axe, and this. Oh, what does the axe do, Ethan?
It breaks everything.
It cuts things. Yeah,
Yeah.
like an axe does.
Oh, because it's made of like super alloys that can cut through the shitty steel this kingdom has, which is kind of interesting. I guess.
right. And
then he's got a razor blade gun.
yeah, which the princess takes.
Yeah,
And
can
spoiler,
kill anyone at 20 feet.
we never see it again.
Yep.
So
You never see any of these things again. In fact, this entire section of the movie
should
doesn't-
be cut out.
hit the plot at all.
Should be cut out.
If you cut
Well, it's
this
like
out
all
though,
these training scenes. Yeah, we're showing him walking on his hands. Tell me, does he ever walk on his hands
Because,
to get out of a
okay,
problem?
the first half of the movie
Yeah.
could be cut out of
Oh,
this
yeah.
movie.
Oh,
but
yeah.
then it'd only be like 40 minutes long
Oh, yep.
because only 40 minutes of this movie has anything in it.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about it, sister.
So yeah,
I think they should have cut it out more.
I
and
wasn't
had a lot more in the
entirely sure what
crazies.
was going on. So
Hey, you know what they
they're
should
in
have
the
done
city,
in the crazies?
yeah. What?
though? He should have walked on his hand, and they would have been like, "One of us," and that's
Yeah,
how he
okay.
gets out. That would have been
yeah,
pretty dumb.
yeah.
I actually like the what happens in the end. Like, I gotta keep the crazies till later.
The
That's
15
so good.
minutes of the crazies is the best bit of the
Oh,
whole
it's
movie.
so good.
But they get to this city that isn't in the kingdom yet.
yeah,
They get lured. They decide to go shopping.
right. They find this dude who throws water on them because they hate Americans, and then this is a very
Fair
funny
enough.
scene. One of the bodyguards goes, "Oh, the natives here have something like they're a little
Anti-American.
anti-American," and as he finishes that, he gets shot with an arrow.
Yeah,
It's like,
they get assassinated.
talk about an understatement. Am
the
I
Jim
right?
Carter dude chases them, loses them. Then when he gets back, everyone's gone, but all the
Well, actually, he
guards
fights
are
some
dead.
people. He fights some people.
Oh, in the terrible fighting style he's got.
So then he finds out his princess is
Oh
stolen.
man, you know what we missed?
What?
Okay, so when he's seducing the princess in the first montage, this is how he does. So for some reason she refuses to speak,
God.
and then she just starts speaking later in the film. Like there's nothing. She just doesn't speak at the start.
'Cause
So
it's cute.
he goes down to have a conversation with her and goes and starts having both sides of the conversation, but he does it by going, "Oh, hey, princess," flips, smacks his leg as he's doing it, so he's facing the other way. He goes, "Hi, Gymkata, dude," and then he keeps doing it, and it just goes on and on of him like having this weird conversation with himself, pretending to be the princess, and the princess finds this endearing and not weird in the
She
slightest.
falls for it, man.
Does he start making out with himself and like touching his hair? I hated his hair. The crappy mullet he's rocking the whole way through.
Yeah. I don't know. It's the whatevers.
Whatever.
80s? Is it the 80s?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with 80s.
Anyway, back in the shitty city,
So the princess is taken.
yeah.
He needs to go find the princess, and when he's looking through this city where everyone else is wearing like business, you know what I mean, like the 80s businessman look. I don't know what to describe as. He's wearing a bit
He
bright red
finds,
t-shirt.
Yeah, he finds where the enemy spies are.
Why is he wearing a bright red
Rescues
t-shirt
the
to do spy
princess
work?
because
Come
he
on.
is not blending at all.
He doesn't blend in.
Thanks to some well-positioned poles, he manages to knock everyone out and rescue the princess. Heads back to where their guys are, where it turns out that guy is actually a traitor.
There is a funny scene though.
I don't even know who these people are.
You know when
anymore.
he's fighting them? He
Yeah.
fights them in an alley, and he jumps on the pole, and he starts doing the flips.
And thankfully, they all walk into him one at a time.
Including some poor innocent bike guy who turns around the corner and just gets
Just
hit
gets
by
a
him.
foot in the face for his trouble.
And we were all like, was that just a random bike
yeah,
guy?
a lot of random people just get killed in this movie.
He runs up to the random guy and he's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
and then just runs off.
And he runs off. And we're like, they didn't need to show that he was a random bike guy. That was quite a weird choice.
It's a weird part of the movie.
Well,
anyway.
they go back to then the guy who was helping them, who was actually crossing them, and his boss dude comes out of nowhere with a machine gun and shoots
the
them all.
guy who hired him in the first place comes out, kills him, and goes, "Yeah, I thought the Secret Service should have handled this in the first place." I'm just like, which group are we with? Who are these people?
Actually,
I don't know what's happening.
There was a cool kill. He does kill someone with a fire
Oh, he
extinguisher.
machine guns down a bunch of people.
Yeah.
That guy's way cooler than the main character.
But that's the like the most boring stuff though in this film is just them running through the city while people kind of shooting at them
yeah.
because the levels all the same and you're just like
I did like the police actually get involved and shoot the guy.
yeah, the police are like, what the fuck, stop shooting people, you
Yeah.
fucking terrorists.
So after that,
There's a guy who also goes ow
I wasn't
when he's
sure.
pushed.
So for some reason, there's no road into the kingdom.
Right.
Is that it?
So, no, that doesn't make any sense.
You've got a
Come
water
on.
raft. Well, for some reason, they water raft into the kingdom.
Why water rafting into the kingdom, which they are immediately, they are caught.
Okay, here's something that also doesn't make sense. Why are they captured? Why do they? Okay, so they water raft in, they land, and there's a bunch of guards waiting for them. Now he's traveling with their princess, who they all obey.
Yes.
He is an invited guest.
Yes.
Why do they immediately start fighting?
Does he kill someone too?
He knocks the shit out of a few of them, and then one of them smacks him over the head with a brick. And then he wakes up and is in the guest area, and they're like, "Oh yeah, sorry for that. By the way, get ready to be a guest."
Well, they were probably wondering why he's trying to break into there.
But isn't that how you get into the city?
I'm
the
sure,
kingdom?
there must be a road. There's probably a road. The Romans had roads. I'm sure they have roads.
Jared, these people were not as advanced as the Romans.
It just doesn't make sense.
Then we get our first view of the actual kingdom people, which is the toothless old woman who keeps trying to feel up the main character while he's
No,
unconscious.
Not toothless. She got no tongue.
Well, I think she's missing a few teeth as well.
Yeah.
The people
they're all
of
black.
this kingdom, they picked like the weirdest looking group of misfits they could find.
Yeah, they really did. I reckon they just went to some like suburban,
Apart
Serbian
from the
town.
princess and the lord and the commander dude, everyone is kind of hideous.
That's why he got the Indonesian wife.
Yeah. He had to travel outside of his kingdom to find someone to marry.
Well, this is where we're introduced to the general dude, who turns out we're like, is he Aussie?
He
And
is.
So, little side thing, I started looking him up because I was like, he seems kind of familiar to me. It's Richard Norton,
Yeah.
and he's actually a pretty famous martial artist and pretty big in BJJ, Australian, all those things. I've actually seen a
Which
documentary.
is a load of stuff you do.
Yeah, a lot of things I do. I've seen a documentary. I think a few people I know have like met him. All this weird stuff. I was like, wow, this guy's got a great. Normally, like the B-grade actors or like
You kind of
know,
want him to win as well.
You really
just
do.
because the main character was just irritating.
Yeah, it was just really interesting to like look him up and be like, oh shit, it's this guy. He's
Yeah.
quite popular and famous and has all tributes to him and stuff.
So at this
yeah.
point in the
Don't-
movie,
don't you
I
wish
thought it
to-
would be
Do you ever get confused when, like, I've seen this a few times. I'm watching a movie about people fighting, like martial artists, yeah?
yeah.
But the actual martial artists aren't the ones doing the fighting. They get someone else in to do the main thing.
The gym guy.
Like, I'm not complete. Okay, I know this. You could say the same thing for like a lot of movies, but sometimes I just feel like when it comes off as a bad movie and it just looks like shit, I'm like, I don't know.
I don't
Kind
even
of
know
rubs
what you're
me
saying.
a funny way because
Okay.
it's like you've got a legitimate like fighter
Good fighter.
who also like can act and do all those things.
But instead, we're going to focus on the gym guy
We gotta focus on the guy who can't do any of those things.
who can't fight and who acts irritatingly.
I know this one is purely fictional story. I think the funniest one
It's
that
based off a book, isn't it?
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, what was it called again?
The most terrible game, which
Oh.
is better than Gymkata.
Really the
Yes.
most terrible game.
Better than Gymkata.
Sorry, I think why I was getting annoyed is
At
that,
any point does he say, "I practice Gymkata"?
no, the guy
where-
says your thing's called Gymkata.
Does
it's your
he?
special blend of like gymnast stuff and karate Gymkata.
Yeah.
I think he says call it Gymkata or something.
I don't remember that.
It's like your special blend
But
Gymkata.
yeah, at this point in the film, I thought it would just be him doing the game.
Mhm.
But apparently, all of a sudden, there's like 6 other people from different countries who turn up to play the game as well.
Yeah,
Were they whitewater rafted into this kingdom?
probably.
Are they all working for different countries? Because some of them were American.
Some of them were. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
So we get to watch 3 criminals try and run the thing, and they all get killed
well, what
off
about
pretty quick.
what about what actually happens then? The dinner though.
Yeah.
At the dinner,
So we find out the commander's going to marry the princess, and
Right.
also that he is the bad guy who wants the kingdom to stay isolated,
and also
and he's going to cheat.
we get introduced to I think what's meant to be our main character's
Who
like
was that?
dude. I don't know.
All of a sudden, they're having this feast, and this big dude comes in, dressed in like weird body armor, and apparently the gym guy knows him because he's like, "Oh yeah, you were my hero in that Olympic thing," and the big guy's just like,
The big guy
I
turns
think
out.
his name is Grok.
Dude, I don't know what the fuck was going on. Anyway, yeah. So let's skip that
Because
night.
it
We
isn't
go to-
enough to have the game be the
Yeah.
deadliest game. You've also got to have like a
Big-
bad guy also competing.
That's kind of fun though.
But it
that's kinda
it's like
fun,
he
Ethan.
basically kills himself. Like
Yeah, he
maybe
does.
if he hadn't kept stopping to like attack people, he would have been all right.
Probably. Well, move forward to the prisoners. So there's 3 prisoners who they're gonna sentence to death, or they can play the game.
No, I think that is their sentence.
Oh,
of
it's
death.
just to play
no
the
one
game.
wins the game,
Yeah,
so you may
true,
as well
good
just do
point.
that.
So they all say yes to the game.
Also, everyone is so hyped up in this kingdom about the game, like they're celebrating and everything.
The game.
But it's not like
you know why?
you can't see
Hey,
the competition
Ethan.
unless you're a guard. There's no TV
They
like,
got no
showing
TV.
it or anything.
Exactly. You just hit the nail on the head. They have no TV. They've got no entertainment.
Yeah, but they don't watch the game.
Their biggest form of entertainment.
It's not like they go out on the hill and watch the game. They don't
Dude,
know something's wrong because
they're-
they're all just waiting for the
think
people
about
to come
what they
back.
do. They
but
don't
no
do
one
it-
comes back. It must be the most boring game
No,
imaginable
They're
to
in
be
a
a
boring city.
spectator.
Their biggest form of entertainment is to watch a cow and count how many times it can take a dump in a day.
But why were they
Okay.
excited by this game? Because for
'Cause
them,
they
right,
don't have
if you're a
anything.
villager, this is your view of the game. They run out of the city. At the end of the day, the guards come back and say they're dead.
They got no Netflix.
That's it.
They got no Netflix. They got no Disney Plus. They got no Hulu.
They seem to enjoy assaulting each other. Why didn't they just do that?
Because that's all they can do is assault each other, and you can only do it for so long.
I guess.
They've got nothing to do in that city. What do they do?
That's why they like their king, because he's like making jokes and being eccentric. It's like he's
Oh, you mean-
entertaining the whole place.
Do you mean Mel Brooks?
Yeah.
He looks like
I
Mel
like
Brooks.
Mel Brooks crossed with Asterix.
Yeah, it was really weird.
Yeah.
So
Because he looked so out of place from everybody else.
the thing is, though, when they start this race, all our heroes,
Yeah, they're following along to see where
right?
the
But
track is.
they're all on horses.
Yeah.
Now we have an epic scene here, folks. There is a very
You maybe rewind so we could watch it again.
and we found out we were correct. So what happens is when they say, and this is in the town, they say, "Oh, let the prisoners run." Prisoners start running off. People start running that way after the prisoners, and our
To watch,
heroes,
yeah.
the heroes on the horses, big horses, start slowly trotting off in the direction
and
of
then
the
starts
people.
to go a bit faster. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, some of the townspeople, extras, have gotten in the way.
There was an extra with his back turned to the horses who had no idea, and one of the people literally ride their horse right into the extra, bowling him over.
Man, you can see why riot police still use horses
Oh my
because
God.
it knocks that dude flying.
He falls like a good meter ahead.
Yeah.
He falls over, and then you can see too that there's 2 of the actors who are the hero. They're like,
Not
"Oh
the
my-"
one who knocked him down, but some of the others stopped to see if he's okay.
Yeah, and then in the next scene, Tim even picked up that you could see someone helping the guy up and them still being around him.
Yeah.
So like
That guy got knocked senseless.
that was an awesome scene that they left in. Was just like, oh yeah, just leaving this scene.
It made it more realistic.
Much more realistic. Horses are dangerous.
We get to see the game being played by the prisoners. They get killed off pretty quick.
Yeah, we've kind of gone over a little bit. Of
We've
that
gone
one.
over the game. The next day, they all start playing.
Yes.
Goes about as well as you'd imagine, except now that the general is... Oh, he's cheating, which actually makes them less efficient at killing the prisoners. Killing the game people. Because when they weren't cheating, they were just shooting them with arrows, right? But
Uh-huh.
now that he's cheating, he's going through and he's setting fire to the rope as they're climbing up, but it goes up so slowly that they
That
all
was
make
so
it.
dumb.
And then later at the rope bridge, rather than doing what they were doing earlier, which is just shooting them with arrows, he laughs at the guy, then starts cutting it with his sword so that he falls easily to the other side.
Yeah, he cuts,
helps him across.
He cuts the rope bridge, right? When the guy is like 2 feet away from the end of the rope bridge.
Yeah.
Which means that he just kind of falls down a little bit against the side of the cliff and then goes like,
they're
okay.
all trapped on the other side.
Right.
They make it worse for themselves.
Yeah. So
The only reason so many of them die is because just a little bit past the rope bridge, the big guy who came at the last minute is killing some of them.
yeah. So he kills the Asian guy who
Which
seems
works
like he was going to win.
against him. Because that means that the guards are able to catch up and shoot him with arrows.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's no point to actually like hurting other people in the game.
Yeah. He
It
slows
works
himself
against
down.
you. And what it's also really weird that we think that Well, you're not really seeing everyone. It turns out the other American guy actually somehow made it to
Yeah, a few
the
of them
town.
make it to the crazy town. So this is where the movie goes from kind of boring and meh to just
Epic.
amazing.
It is
Because he
amazing.
runs into the town of the crazy. And at first he's like, it's an abandoned town. And he's running around looking. Also, the place is huge. They must have a gigantic crazy criminal population.
That is a.
And I mean crazy. Like, there are people like gibbering to themselves, staring at the wall. That
This-
kind of crazy.
This level crazy. Sorry for going a little gamer here, but it's a Dark Souls level.
Yeah,
it's, like
it's something out of a
Bloodborne.
horror movie.
What did I write down here? I said, oh, Resident Evil 4.
I
like
haven't
that's
played that.
that's
I
the
don't know.
sort of thing it's trying to show. It's
Like
it's
where the
that
people have been
weird-
infected by some sort of weird
is
virus that makes them nuts.
that weird medieval town sort of thing. But
Where people are laughing
They're
and
all
try and hack you
farmers.
apart with a sickle.
yes,
So at first he's trying to find his way around. And there aren't too many people.
it is so much like a video
he
game.
almost gets cut up into a couple of traps.
It is, yeah. It's so much like a video game. Like you'll turn the corner and there'll be the guy like grinding his sickle, laughing, and then he'll be like,
Yeah.
ah.
Well, that's it. The first guy he meets, he finally meets this guy in an alley, and he's like, okay, what's gonna happen? The guy full on tries to cut him up with his sickle.
Oh my god,
Then he manages to push him over, and the guy grabs onto a pipe.
it's a burning pipe.
And no, I think it's just a pipe. The guy goes nuts. He's screaming, he's going crazy. He cuts his arm off with the sickle
Yes.
and then just runs off.
Yes, that is that.
That was the start, okay? That's how this village starts and it ramps up from there.
How much better would have it been if this was like, I don't know, Resident Evil 4 the movie? Like
Well, the whole thing was this.
how much better would it have been if 80% of the movie was like them in a crazy, like, I don't know, just do them in a crazy town trying to find their way out, or like, yeah, you know what, someone's daughter or like family has gone there, that's why they have to go and save them, and they go there thinking it's all going to be normal, then they find out no, they've gone to the town of crazies, and then they have to like fight their way out and do
Yeah.
all that stuff. That would be awesome. It was so
Okay,
well
so
shot.
Shortly after that, he's still running through town. There aren't too many people around yet.
But how
That's when he finds all this blood, and it's like, oh, the American guy he liked is like nailed to a wall with pitchforks.
with pitchfork.
And there's a
felt-
dog eating his entrails and stuff. It's
Oh
like
my
it's such a
God.
huge jump from the rest of the film.
What on earth
Like
happened?
even the filmmaking improves. Everything's dark and moody, and there's like it's very you can't tell where he's going. It's
This
like
is
a maze.
really. This is. I feel
And
like.
then he finds the guy with the backwards head on his face.
Where you know what I think? I think this is, you know, when they always do in horror movies like the medieval,
They try and make
down-
a weird town.
right?
They did that right in this one.
This is like the most real feeling evil town I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
Like
that was great.
I've never seen one that feels so real that if you told
because
me
it's
this was
so
a real,
over the top.
but
and
like
crazy.
the villages, like they felt real. Everything felt real.
So shortly after defeating
It
the
looked
sickle
real.
dude, he sees like a church down the end of an alley, and there's a priest who's like beckoning him.
Beckoning
So he
him.
finally goes
Well,
towards him
As he's going towards him, there's this guy in the corner of the courtyard.
with this weird face, just staring at him.
Well,
And he kind of looks at him, and then the gym guy kind of looks at him, then starts walking away from him. But then he turns around, and it's like he's got like a wax head
On his
on
back
the
of his
back of
head.
his head,
Oh man, that was cool.
and then
He's
And then
running
the
to
priest-
the church guy.
And then the priest at the church turns around, and it's like, oh yeah, the entire back of his costume's missing, so his ass is just hanging out.
Oh my god.
And it's like he's still beckoning him, but facing backwards. It's like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah, it was so much
Then
crazy
the
shit.
two-headed guy attacks him. Oh man.
And then there's this bit where he runs into like a barn and there's pigs.
Oh
And
no!
as he's
So
fighting the
what
pigs-
happens is, okay,
Yeah.
finally, like crowds are coming out to attack him now, and the big evil American guy has caught up to him, even though he's like got a couple arrows in him.
yeah, sorry. We totally missed him getting shot. That's when
because
no. He
it's
hides behind a
boring.
tree, Ethan.
Oh, it's this huge guy hiding behind a tiny
So
tree.
there's this little bit just before they get to the town where he tries to kill our main character. But what happens is
another bad fighting boy.
as he's fighting them, someone shoots an arrow, misses our main character, and hits that guy instead.
Yeah.
But there was this very funny scene where somehow it was shot to make it look like the big guy was hiding behind a tiny, like, thin tree.
Ugh,
It was really
yeah.
weird.
Anyway, back to the cool part in the crazies.
Yeah.
So the bad guy is starting to chase him, but now they're being chased by crowds as well.
Yeah.
So the gym guy runs through like a pig barn,
Yeah, this is cool.
and finally it's like all the town crazies, even though they're like poor peasants, they've all got pitchforks and stuff.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they just stab the giant guy to death.
Well, like Hero, he kind of gets out of the top corner of the window, and then that guy turns around to like fight the other. There's only 3. This is what I like too. I mean, I do know they get crowded later.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's like, yeah, 3 guys with pitchforks are pretty dangerous.
That's what happens to The Witcher.
Huh?
He gets killed by a guy with a pitchfork.
What are you talking about?
The Witcher.
The video game?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
I've never played it.
Oh, well, that's what happens to him, Jared.
What the fuck was that? So a spoiler for.
No, it's not really a spoiler. That's how the games start. At some point he got. It's like, yeah, he's this great guy, but at some point this peasant with a pitchfork just nails him.
When he dies.
Yeah, but he gets brought back to life somehow.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember. It's been a while since I played.
What the hell, man? Just throwing spoilers out here.
I don't even think it happens in the books.
Anyway.
But anyway, so he's still running through the town, and this
Well,
is
wait.
where
The big guy.
this is the most
Wait,
awesome
the big
part.
guy. The big guy. We're showing he's dying
In a
as
pig
pigs
pen.
are eating him.
Yeah,
That's sick.
yeah, and he's just getting stabbed to death. So this gets to the best and probably the most stupid part of the movie.
Okay.
He gets to the center of the town. The entire town of crazies has come out.
He finds
Except
a horse.
in the center of the town, there is like a horse or something.
pummel horse thingy.
A pummel horse.
Is it pummel? I keep saying pummel.
I have no idea. So he gets up on it and he just starts doing his routine. And one by one, they all walk into his kicks. And he
Yeah.
takes out. This goes on for like 5 minutes. It is stupid, but it's kind of awesome at the same time.
Nah.
It's.
I like
I
what
liked
happens
it.
straight away afterwards. He tries to run away, but he keeps getting cornered, and eventually he tries to climb up the side of the
And that's it.
of
He's
a
trapped.
house,
He just can't reach.
and he's fucking trapped, and he's gonna be eaten alive by them. And then someone
There are
reaches down.
dogs going in slow mo chasing him through
Dude,
the mist covered
that's
streets.
what I like. That's what I like. Was like, oh, there's real problems here. He might not make it, and the only reason he makes it is there's an undercover guy there helping him.
No, it's his dad.
Yeah, I know, but he's the undercover agent.
No, he's not an undercover agent.
I'm sure they said we have an agent there for you guys.
No.
Whatever.
So
his dad
he's finally
reaches down
caught it.
and
His
saves
dad
him.
saves him. It turns out, even though he'd been shot, he'd managed to survive, and he'd been living there all year waiting for his son to come and get him.
Then he joined the crew.
Yeah. And it's like, it's so weird. It's like he pulls him out of the town, and then, boom, it's like a completely different movie again. It's like
Yeah.
the crazies are gone. It's back to boring kind of action.
Well, this is funny though. Again,
The dad gets shot by an arrow again.
I gotta say though, the
The-
dad saving him was actually pretty good because like
Yeah.
you're like fuck this town, man.
I was waiting for something like that to happen.
That's okay. That's acceptable.
Yeah.
But it was pretty funny though. They're walking away from the town. As they're walking away, it's like, "I love you, Dad," and he's like, "I love you, son." Bam!
Whack,
shot
hit
by an arrow. That's the second time in the movie where someone's like,
And he
"They're
doesn't
not that
even
bad."
die
Shot by an
from
arrow.
it. The dad gets shot multiple times and just
No,
sort
he
of
gets
just
shot once,
walks
man.
it off.
He gets shot
No,
once.
twice.
Does he?
He gets shot on the rope bridge and then later by the bad guy.
Ah. It's like, "I missed you, Dad." Shot with an arrow. As soon as someone says something in this film like, "They're not that bad," shot with an arrow.
Yeah,
I'll make it. Shot with an arrow.
but yeah, then the gym guy fights with the main bad guy, cracks his neck in a sort of totally unbelievable way.
A totally unbelievable way. It makes no sense how that. trope
He
would-
runs into the town and declares himself the winner, and then that's
Oh.
kind of the end.
Sorry, nah. The
What?
town. Turns out that the general dude was sort of holding the king hostage
Oh,
with his
all that
own
stuff is
soldier.
just kind of dumb.
It's just thrown in. It's thrown in so much. I didn't know that was happening.
yeah.
Because apparently the general dude was taking over the town with his own guards, who were the guards in the black. So then the princess is talking to the
Because
king,
the dad is dumb.
and she's just like, "We don't run it anymore." And he's like, "Ah," and then he goes, "Okay," and then he grabs a sword, runs out, kills a few of them, and screams at the townspeople to kill these people. That's it.
The townspeople are all better fighters than the guards anyway.
Doesn't make any sense. Man.
Yeah. Then it ends with a title crawl saying that the Americans came and took over the country, and all the country people were super happy that the Americans were in charge now,
Good on America. You did it.
and they set up the Star Wars program there.
Yep.
That's
Man.
the end of the movie.
Gotta say,
what
that-
did you think?
I loved the
We went
crazy
through the
town.
whole thing.
I want someone to make a full movie like The Crazy Town.
The movie is
That's it. Yeah.
the movie is pretty boring, honestly. Except the 15 minutes you spend in the town of the crazies it was worth every minute.
The rest,
It was amazing. That was amazing. The rest of the movie was bleh.
The terrorist bit in the other country,
Yeah,
I thought was the worst.
because it had nothing to do with the
His
movie.
training camp was fine. Look, you can have his training camp in. I think just honestly, get rid of that entire section where they go to the other country and there's a double cross and
The
everything.
weird flirting where he's doing the flip slaps.
That's dumb, but it was kind of entertaining.
Ugh,
What I'm
yeah.
saying is like get rid of the boring section, which was like half an hour, and give me a good extra half an hour in the Crazy Town, or maybe some more like things like the Crazy Town. Do you know what I mean?
Like maybe he should have found the other American dude he liked alive, and they should have like
oh,
tried
yeah.
to fight their way out.
Yep, 100%.
That would have been kind of cool.
So much better. Yeah, you don't need to give me an extra half an hour. Just give me an extra 10 minutes of that.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, this is a sick movie. Or even some like trials that are hard or cool,
Yeah.
you know?
It's just the Gymkata fighting style. It's just silly.
Yes.
And until the crazy bit, it's kind of a boring film.
It's kind of a run of the mill.
Yeah, until they get to the town of the crazies, it just feels like a James Bond ripoff.
Yeah, not that great. I'm just saying, I reckon it could be a far better movie if they just got rid of that country bit. It would make it shorter, much more doable. You go straight from the training scene to the actual town where you're water rafting and more crazy stuff. I want
Yeah.
more crazy stuff in the actual country, and it would be a bit more entertaining film. I reckon it's kind of cool film
Maybe
though.
if one of the
It's kinda iconic,
other
though.
like game players was like set up as the villain, like a giant evil Russian dude.
Well, that's
Like
I think
this
that's
was
what
from
that
the
guy
80s.
was.
No, but he was American. I mean, we've brushed over the fact that the commander of their armies is an Australian
So
guy.
you're thinking of like Game of Death. I mean, I know
Which
it's not
one's that?
Russians, but
Which one's that?
Bruce Lee?
Is that the one in the tower?
No. Wait, shit, did I just say the wrong one? What's the one where
Enter the Dragon?
Enter the Dragon.
Yeah.
An Enter the Dragon type thing with the Crazy Town. Oh man, that would have been awesome. That's kind of what
Where like some of the other competitors are his enemies and he has to fight them.
you
But
know.
he doesn't.
Enter the Dragon's good because it's like, yeah, people do win, people survive.
Yeah.
That's what
Kind of.
That's what this movie needed. It sort of needed to be more like Enter the Dragon. Like, we needed to see them have, like, dangerous fight scenes where, like, maybe that's how they should have passed into... Like, that should have been the level of the game, was fighting other people. Like, you don't... Not everyone has to, like, win. You have to win against one of them, and you get to kill the other person. That way you could get rid of
well,
lots of characters.
Yeah, but it's not. It's not that.
It's not
And
that,
apart
yeah.
from the crazy bit, the movie's kind of forgettable.
Man, I gotta say, I got a movie there. I got a movie idea there.
You write that down,
I
Jared.
write that
Hollywood's
idea down.
totally going to be interested in your movies.
Yeah, another movie where they go up and kill people.
Yeah.
Like that. Hollywood. Ring, ring.
Anyway, was Gymkata.
That's Gymkata. Thanks for listening, folks. We'll be back with you next week with another podcast. G'day, everyone, and welcome to a post-podcast more information bit. Anyway, I was looking around for the movie, and I found this thing called Bristol Bad Film Club, and they have an interview with the actual Gymkata guy, and it's really interesting because, first off, Ethan and I both failed to even look up the director and realize that the director actually did direct Enter the Dragon. Whoops. Also, this is one of the most crazy things I've ever read before, but the insane people in the town of crazies, according to the main actor, were actually crazy people from a local insane asylum in Yugoslavia, and they provided them with alcohol and a buffet for their time. Right. Oh, he says, though, that all the people he ended up kicking were stuntmen. So I just, wow. You know, just, wow. I don't even know. That's made it a lot better at the same time. You could, wow. Okay. So yeah, Bristol Bad Film Club, check it out. It's a small little interview, but it's a pretty interesting piece to read. And that is definitely it for the podcast. Thanks for listening to the end of the reel. If you know anyone else who is a fan of good bad movies, share this podcast around to them. Sharing is the best way to help promote our podcast.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye-bye.